recap of the week, and we begin tonight in South Carolina, home of ancestors that you may not want to look up on Ancestry.com. South Carolina held their Republican primary last night, and Donald Trump won big, which was all the more impressive considering what had happened earlier in the week.
Donald Trump is now in a very nasty feud with the Pope.
Here's what Francis had to say. I'm quoting here. A person who thinks only about building walls wherever they may be and not of building bridges is not Christian.
Yes, this week saw a battle between an infallible force and an illogical object. And it was amazing. The most inclusive Pope in recent history questioned Trump's faith, which I guess means the Pope feels Donald Trump is not my Christian, hashtag not my Christian. And yet Trump still won. He still won. Although perhaps the even bigger news last night was what South Carolina did to Jeb Bush, the side of plain white rice that nobody ordered. Jeb Bush dropped out last night after finishing fourth, despite really pulling out all the stops in South Carolina this week.
Barbara Bush appearing with son Jeb Bush on the campaign trail. Is she the closer?
No. She could not be the closer. You bring on the closer when you have a lead. When your campaign is where Jeb Bush's was, you don't need a closer, you need a fucking coroner. And look, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I kind of feel bad for Jeb Bush, because not only did he bring his mom along to help him campaign, just wait until you hear what she said about him.
What's left for me to say is that Jeb has been a great son, great father, great husband, married well, and is one of my 4 favorite sons.
I know she's joking, but that is literally what you say about your 4th favourite son. She actually went on to call him steady, honest, modest and kind. And his campaign was over right then and there. Because you know you've lost when your own mother is selling you to America like an unappealing blind date. He's steady, he's modest, he has a pet mouse. Honestly, he hasn't been with a woman in a long time and he really needs this. Please. So let's move on to the other big news here this week. The Supreme Court, the only thing that rules more than a crab with a knife in its claw. You rule, Stabby Crabby, you rule. Now, as we discussed last week, the Republicans are saying they won't confirm a replacement for Antonin Scalia and spent this week refining their explanation for why, starting within hours of Scalia's death.
Well, we have 80 years of precedent of not confirming Supreme Court justices in an election year.
OK, 80 years of not confirming Supreme Court justices in election years. The problem there, aside from the fact that America is more than 80 years old, is he is forgetting Justice Kennedy, who was confirmed in 1988. Although, in his defence, it is easy to forget that. We confirmed a lot of things that year, including the fact that Rick Astley will neither give you up nor let you down, and that it's possible to produce a crowd-pleasing blockbuster in which a grown woman fucks a 13-year-old boy. Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't look 13. Listen to yourselves. Luckily, by Monday, others were aware of this little factual problem and they'd made some corrections.
Well, it's been more than 80 years, I think, about that long, since somebody was nominated in the president's last year.
OK, so more than 80 years since someone was nominated in a president's last year. That does get rid of Kennedy, who was nominated in the previous year. Unfortunately, it then lets in Fortas and Thornberry, both nominated to Supreme Court positions in 1968, which mathematically, unhelpfully, is less than 80 years ago. And when you're off by 32 years, you're off by an entire Adam Driver. Still, neither of them wound up being confirmed in an election year, which Ted Cruz undoubtedly had in his head when he took another swing at that same argument.
For the last 80 years, the Senate has not confirmed any nominee nominated during an election year.
Wow, that's intricate. For 80 years, the Senate has not confirmed any nominee nominated in an election year, and that is so close to being true.